I know a lot of people are feeling that things have changed. The world does not feel the same. And it's made me wonder, is it just because my generation is getting older and we're exactly like every other generation that came before us that said their prime time was the best time to be alive? I'm curious to know your thoughts on this and what generation you grew up in. Now, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, arguably one of the best times to grow up, before people were glued to screens, where people had to show up to see each other, where, we got really bored to the point where I think the pace of then would drive a lot of people to frustration today. And even you see in older movies from this era, they're very slow, painfully slow a lot of the time. And perhaps best of all, we weren't always expected to be reachable and on. And if something embarrassing happened, it was usually just forgotten about, which is so important to children. And I think the biggest part of why things feel so different is because of people's mindset. There's been a massive mindset shift. People used to be a lot more optimistic. Now, this is a really complicated topic, and I've talked about this in different facets in some of my other videos before. But back when I was growing up, there was a belief that things were moving forward and they were going to continually improve. Technology was exciting and it was going to advance our life and improve things. And now we just look at it and it's getting scary and it's exhausting and it's created a lot of problems in society. I mean, there is an argument that it has also improved our lives too, but I do think the bad greatly outweighs the good at this point, especially for the young people today. What I'm trying to say is that there was this sense that if you did the right things, got a good job, got an education, that things were going to improve and your future was going to be bright. Or at least that everything would eventually work itself out in the wash. Now it's sort of like the opposite, because we're constantly surrounded by bad news and there seems to be a lot of crazy events happening in the world. And I do also think that everyone's comparing their lives to someone else's highlight reel on social media. Every era has had doomsayers, but I think it feels a little louder this time, right now. And I think that's because the veil has been pulled back, the curtain has been pulled back and revealed a lot of corruption, the powerful elites and what the evil things that they have been getting up to, and how powerless the everyday person like me and you really are. And I honestly do think that this is a good thing. People are waking up and this is the price of awareness. But I don't think this means that the world is ending. It's something that's been going on for God knows how long, but a really long time, and it's just being exposed now. And I think collectively, with all of these people becoming more aware of what's really happening, this is a good thing. And something else I wanted to discuss with you is that it seems like since the 2000s, time is just blurry. For example, like previous decades to that felt really defined culturally. There was an overarching theme. For example, the 70s was like the hippie, peace and love, anti-establishment era. Even the fashion is quite distinct. And then you have the 80s, which was based on being ambitious and excessive and bold. And what would you say is the defining culture of this decade? I'm very curious to know. Outrage cycles, algorithms, influencers, and AI perhaps? If someone showed you a photo from 2014 and another one from 2024, it's probably not going to be very easy to tell what decade is what. in comparison to if someone showed you a photo from 1974 and 1984, I think it would be a lot easier to tell. Why do you think this is? Or am I just going insane here? Anyways, I will leave it at that because I could go on and on talking about this, but I am so interested to hear from you in the comments below.